Basically, we've used the soil probes in the wine grapes, and then we also have some almonds, and then we tried them a little bit in some processed tomatoes, but it just didn't quite work out for us. So we're still using probes in all of our permanent crop. Grapes, we have single line drip, just on a drip line down our trellis, and then we have micro sprinklers in our almonds. Wine grapes, we've always been on drip. We put them in 99, I think. Actually, while I was still going to Fresno State, we were planning it all out. So we put them in 99, and they've always been on drip. We had an older orchard, almond orchard, that we took out since then. That it was on just regular old brass sprinklers, and we put in our new orchard. I think it was in 05, and we put it in on the micro sprinklers.
Okay.
So I kind of watched my neighbors, because these are the first grapes my family has ever put in. So like everybody else, you would water once a week. You'd go out and you'd look at the tips and make sure your growing tips were grown. You make sure you had good growth, and for 2 or 3 years I did it that way, and it was just, we knew we had to do something different, because I had just monster vines. I mean, I had where the vines were down on the ground. I was overwatering them, and I had a great canopy. We had good crops, but I had to send a cane cutter through them probably 3 or 4 times a year. In the past, we have tried consultants. We've tried everything else. Like I said, in our older orchard, we had consultants where we had what do they call them, the pressure bombs and all the different things like that, and that helps, but it was kind of hit and miss. It has. And for the first few years that we had put the other probes in, it was really a kind of a positive change. I was using less water than what people said that you really needed. The crops were good. That's kind of the nice thing about the new smartphones now, is I can get you look at the 10-day forecast. If you see 100-degree heat coming, in 4 or 5 days or a week, this place here, I've got 100 acres of wine grapes that I rent at one time, and then I've got 150 acres of almonds that I have to split up into 2 blocks. That usually, to give them a good shot of water, I have to run them for 2.5, 3 days. So you kind of start jockeying things around, so you don't get behind. A nice way to find out that you're doing what you thought you were doing. You can check the probes, because they have different. The new ones that we just put in have a level they have sensors at 4, 8, 20 and 40 inches. So you can pull up a graph and you can see as the water is moving through the profile. So there are those things out there now that are available, and we do use them a little bit, but they're still kind of there on the fringe a little bit. You have the satellite imagery that tells you, the hot spots in your field, or if you have, you need to fertilize just this little spot, which it's not really possible the way our irrigation system's set up right now. We really can fertilize a 40-acre block or a 30-acre block. I can't really just fertilize little tiny areas, but in our row crop, there's companies out there now that have they have spreader trucks and fertilizer rigs that basically they're running off satellite imagery. They're precision. They put on more fertilizer in the spots you need it and less where you need it in others. So there's more stuff that's coming along that's making us more and more efficient, and there's a lot of us that we're starting to use it. It's being had, which it's kind of gone out on me. So it had all the bells and whistles on it.
That had the weather station and everything.
The weather station, which the problem was, I was sitting there looking at it one night, and you could see the rain catcher on it. I looked out here, I go, wow, it looks like there's a downpour. What the heck? I walked outside, and there's no rain, no nothing. I looked, and I took my binoculars and looked at it, and it was a seagull sitting on top of my rain catcher.
A seagull? Oh boy.
Yeah, like I said, it's got sensors at 8. I have to make sure I know. 8, 12, 20, and 40.
Thank you.
So, and we've just put in 6 of these. We put 3 in our grapes, one in each one of our different varieties, and we put 3 in our almonds. So,
okay. Good.
And we put, like I said, we put them in last Wednesday, so they're just starting to give us a little bit of data because they.